So I'm in my car right now. Just got home from flag football. Scored two touchdowns for the win. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. Um, so as you all know, I work a 9 to 5 job as an engineer, right? And I'm also trying to grow my business on the side. And so what I want to talk about real quick today, um, is just a concept that I've been thinking about for the past couple days that it's kind of wanted to share with you. And the essential idea is that you kind of already have what you need, right? And so I'm not sure if that's what's going to be the title of the video, but the idea, as you may or may not know, is that I have a coaching program. And the idea for the coaching program that I had for myself is that I wanted to scale it to 10K a month, right? That iconic 10K a month, right? And to be honest, that is still the goal, right? That is still the goal. However, I do want to be transparent and say that I feel, while it is still the goal, still feels kind of like a mistake a little bit. And let me get into why. Because I've been so fixated on trying to reach a 10K month, 10K month, 10K month, I've been overlooking a lot of the smaller wins. And in fact, I wrote some of them down that I'm going to read off for you, right? So, number one is starting and maintaining a podcast for multiple years, right? So, long time watchers of the channel, listeners of the show, whatever, wherever you came from, glad you're here. But you'll probably know that I have had a podcast, Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast. It's been going since the idea came around 2019, started up in November 2020, and I've been kind of running it ever since, right? And as of right now, it is the year 2025 in September when we're filming this right now. So we've been doing it for about 5 years, when you really think about it, which is crazy, right? Second thing that I've done is start and maintain a YouTube channel where you're most likely watching this video right now. Been doing that for multiple years, since probably around like 2022, 2023, roughly, I would say, is kind of when I've been doing that. So there was that. That takes a lot of effort and energy, right? I'm not going to count the past YouTube channels that I started and stopped in the past, right? I'm just counting just this one right now. Devoting time and energy and effort and attention to becoming better at a craft, which for me was self improvement and becoming a better person overall, and learning how to manage time better and become more efficient and more productive, and being able to essentially really get clarity on what it is that I want in life, and then be able to kind of just go at it and really focus solely on that and not get sidetracked by a bunch of stuff, right? And I've learned the valuable lesson. Another thing that I've learned, valuable lesson of to learning the lesson of learning from those who have already walked the path. AKA, this could be mentors, this can be coaches, this can be whoever it is that you look up to who has done what you want to do. As they say, success leaves clues. So, and what I'd add is that you'd be a fool to not pick up those clues. So, learning the importance of doing that, essentially coming down to not reinventing the wheel, basically. Right? There's a lot of wheels out there, there's lots of tires out there for all you car guys out there. Lots of wheels, lots of tires. No one's really reinventing them. They're just making them better. They're enhancing them. And that's the main thing. You just have to find the one thing that will allow you to enhance what's already been done for somebody. And then once you can solve that problem, there you go. And the biggest thing I think that I've learned that I wrote is that patience and persistence breeds perseverance. I'll say that again. Patience and persistence breeds perseverance. So patience in waiting, right? Essentially, I don't want to say long-term suffering, but waiting for a long time, right? I think it was Ice Cube who said that if you're not willing to work 5 years for something without seeing a dime from it, you probably shouldn't start it. So there's patience, right? Persistence, constantly going day in and day out, doing a little bit every single day, saying that you were going to do what you said you were going to do, right? And then that breeds the perseverance, which is essentially the grit, right? I just like alliteration. That's why I said patience, persistence, and perseverance. And so, as you can see, each of those things is an intangible, right? I can't physically touch patience. I can't go and touch a YouTube channel, right? That's all. That's all digital. But though each of those intangibles help me to develop myself into someone who's more capable of doing what it is that I want to do in the future. And so, what is the big thing that I'm getting at right now? The big thing that I'm getting at is that my problem was I was so attached to the 10K a month outcome that I did not see the other opportunities that were being given to me. I did not see the other, for lack of a better word, blessings that were being given to me in life, right? And because I was so blindsided by this big, I'm gonna call it the big hairy audacious goal. That's a pretty common saying, right? I was so focused and laser focused on that I didn't essentially stop to smell the roses. Now, I'm not saying don't have a big, hairy, audacious goal, don't have a big goal. I'm not saying that at all, right? I'm still a big proponent of having a big goal and being able to strive for, right? That's part of my S360 framework that I talk about so much, and that I allude to and everything. And you need to have that goal that kind of scares you a little bit, right? That is that North Star for you. So I'm not saying don't have that. What I'm saying is don't be so laser focused on it that you become blindsided to everything else that's going on and you completely ignore all the other things that are going on in your life. Two examples that I thought of while I was kind of driving home, uh, thinking about this concept. Number one was Bezos, right? Like him or hate him, right? He could have said, right? He could have said, I want Amazon to be the best place that sells books ever, period. And that was his main goal, right? That was his big goal, and that's great. But had he not stopped and looked at where the online landscape was going, what else he could put onto the platform, had he not done that, Amazon would not be where it is today, selling everything from A to Z, right? Another example that came to mind was Blockbuster, right? Who show of hands, who remembers Blockbuster, right? Because they were unable to see again where the landscape was going and so focused on becoming the biggest and the best and remaining there, they didn't see that the world was going towards digital media, and hence Netflix came in, swooped in, and essentially put Blockbuster out of business, right? And so thinking about those things, right? if you're anything like me if you're anything like me and you tend to hyper focus on that big goal that's in front of you that you really really want to achieve, that one, again, I'm going to call it the big hairy audacious goal, right? You end up getting too dependent on a specific outcome. So for me, I end up getting way too specific on that 10K a month outcome and not focusing on those other examples that I gave before of the lessons that I've learned. And so essentially, you put all your eggs into one basket, right? You put all your outcome eggs into one basket, and you get so married to that outcome that, again, you don't look at all the other things that you've actually learned during that time. So, what I ended up coming to the realization of was that the biggest trap to success, and I know that word's overused, but I'm going to say that success is whatever it means to you, right? Your definition of success for you, right? For some people, that might be a financial goal. For some people, it might be a personal goal. For some people, it might be a relationship goal. It might be a lifestyle goal. Whatever it is for you, right? The biggest trap is thinking that there's only one way to get there, right? And in fact, I actually wrote down that there's a million ways to make $1 million. So why get married to just one, right? As I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you're probably very familiar with the business space and everything. So you know that there's so many ways that you can have a business. You can have social media marketing. You can have online content creation. You can have personal brands. You can have, you can be in the fitness niche. You can be in the healthcare niche. You can be in the relationship niche. And all these things have different sub niches. And you can find so many things to craft a product around that actually resonates with people. So many things you can do, so much so that it is so easy to have analysis paralysis. So why get married to just one? In fact, the common saying is that business people have on an average, I don't know if this has changed, but the last time I read it is that it says that business people have an average of 7 different streams of income. 7. They're not married to just one, right? So what I want to leave you with here, right? And this is all coming off the dome right now. So what I want to leave you with right now is that instead of hyper focusing on one goal, again, for me, that's the 10K a month, which again is still my goal. But instead of hyper focusing on that, I'm also going to focus on the other aspects that I'm learning in the process: the perseverance, the grit, the stick to itiveness, right? The ability to communicate with team members, the ability to stick to the deadlines that I set for myself, right? All these different kind of things that are not necessarily the goal, and in fact, not necessarily, they are not the big hairy goal that I've set for myself. However, I don't need to discount them, right? I need to notice them for what they are, accept them for what they are, let them sit, let them marinate, let them, do their thing and realize that this is an important lesson I need to learn in this point in time, because who knows when this lesson that I've learned is going to come back up in the future. I don't know. I don't know when these lessons are going to come back up, but the important thing is that I'm learning them now, so that way when the opportunity to demonstrate these newfound skills and this newfound skill set does show up, I'm that much more prepared. I'm not saying I'm going to get it perfect, because that's literally impossible, but I will at least be more prepared, and I'll at least be more knowledgeable that, hey, I've been through XYZ situation before. Therefore, I know I have more patience. I have more grit. I have more perseverance. I have all this kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what I want to leave with you, right? Right. I'm not gonna say that, to give you at least something tangible here, right? I'm not saying, you know, again, to not have that big, hairy, audacious goal, but to focus on, the little things, the small things in life. I'm not going to say the cliche like, oh, we have air, we have water, we have food, we have shelter. I'm not going to say that, right? Because we should already know that by now, right? But what I want you to do is to just take a second and look at the goal that you have set for yourself, and really just sit and break down what trials and tribulations and tough times have I been through that is actually that, number one, I came out on the other side of them, and two, what is it that I've learned from them. And as you start doing that, you essentially do what church people say, and they start counting your blessings. You start counting the things that have happened, and you start looking at all the wins, the small wins that we tend to overlook. And I'm not saying this because I'm perfect at it, right? I believe I've been fairly transparent and let you know that I'm not the best at it, but it is something that I am actively working on. And what I've noticed is that even though I am still aiming for that monetary goal for the business, I am still, how do I word this? I'm still relatively satisfied. I'm content but not satisfied. Let's put it that way. I'm content with the progress that I am making in my life personally and in the person I am becoming. However, I'm not satisfied in terms of where I know that I can reach and what I know that I have the potential to do, if that makes sense. Let that one sit. That was it. Hopefully that's going to make sense for you, right? And so what I want to leave you with here is the sentence that, I wrote down. Well, I told Google to write down for me while I was driving, and it says that happiness comes from choosing to be present and accepting the gifts that you have now. And so if that's something that is hard for you, just take a second, like I said already, take a look at your goals and see if that's something that is truly aligned with what you want to do in life. If that's the case, if that's something that you actually want to do, then what I did was I made a video for you already, right? Coming off the top of my head, I remember that I made a video about a 7-day life intention, or it's titled something like that. I'm going to put it up on screen in a second, but you can watch that when you get a chance to. But if you want more help and you want personalized help, check out the first link in the description where you can check out the coaching program that I have. And if it's something for you, great. If it's not, I hope that the rest of the content that I have on YouTube helps and serves you. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one.